with this camera here, with this camera serving as an intermediary between you and I, between us as we communicate with one another. It's like I'm so aware that the camera is serving as a medium between me and you on this medium of YouTube that it's almost, I don't know, it feels like the conversation is almost doctored because I'm constantly, I mean, we have to look directly in the into the camera in order to communicate. So it's like, I don't know if the conversation gets, I don't know if the thoughts are filtered in some way that they're not being completely real to the person speaking them. And if it is doing this, does it get easier over time? I think that it presents a challenge to disregard the camera sitting in front of you in order to connect with people and allow yourself to be fully present without any filter or anything blocking you from really communicating how you would in a natural setting. It's difficult. But regardless of that, I'm going to keep communicating in hopes that you communicate with me, and so we're able to build a bridge to one another in order to create something that hasn't been present thus far in our history. I believe that in my journey to really understand who I am and what it is that I want to fulfill in life, I got to be willing to go to any lengths in order to get it. I got to be willing to do anything possible. I think one of my biggest detriments or drawbacks to defining myself is that I'm not able to truly express my emotion totally, whether in any circumstance that I am able to express myself. It's in channels of introspection such as self-thought or self-analyzing, self-analytical behavior, or through writing, which is another form, I think, of, it's not withdrawing from society, but it's still like a place where I can go and feel comfortable with what I'm doing and what I'm searching for. It's like it's a journey of self, but I still think that we have to have this journey of self with others. I think that it's a simultaneous event. As I come to know myself, you come to know yourself. We each come to know one another. And through this exploration, we express what it makes us feel like, how we feel because of this journey and this exploration, how it manifests itself in each one of our lives. I think there's an array of emotions that one can feel. But I think due to experiences, we each try to restrict the amount of emotion we feel. I believe it's almost a survival instinct, because if we were truly in touch with emotion all the time, well, no, I don't necessarily agree with that. I was going to say that if we're in touch with emotion all the time, that it will drive us crazy, or that we won't be able to handle it. But I think that's just the body's mechanism of survival telling us that this is the case in order to prevent us from delving into our emotions all of the time. I think we all shut it out due to this factor, due to the fear of truly experiencing the self in its rawest form, in its purest form. I believe that we each set up, the self is built so we restrict access to our emotions in order to sustain perhaps our sanity. There haven't been too many people over the course of history that provide just a window into their soul, just let everything be known, allow everyone to come into who they are and experience themselves, and allow others to experience themselves completely and entirely. So I think feeding off that, I believe that one of my biggest drawbacks is opening myself up, not necessarily for criticism, but just, I mean, I know that might be a byproduct of sharing your life or sharing your experiences and how you truly feel inside, of sharing those with people. That's ultimately going to come. There's ultimately going to be criticism, and there's ultimately going to be those who don't agree with what you do or don't want to hear about your feelings and emotions, who are restricting access to their self. So why would they want to hear another person sharing unabatedly the self with them? I believe that this is going to occur more and more. And if it isn't, I believe that, well, I believe it is, but if it wouldn't, I believe it would stand, it would be a counter stance to the evolution that we have seen throughout events taking place. If we don't share, I think that we're doing damage to ourselves. And if we do damage to ourselves, there's no healing process, and there's no forum where we can communicate with one another on a sincere level if we're not able to identify and speak about our emotions. I think that this is one of the most it's one of the most grueling endeavors that a person can undertake. I keep saying this transparency, but I really can't think of a better word to express it. It's just allowing yourself to be open to whatever may come. I mean, it's impossible to predict what response you're going to evoke from another human being or from anything in general. But the thing is, you have to concentrate on yourself. I have to speaking in terms of others, I have to concentrate on myself and just do what's beneficial for me, because I think we lead by example. I can lead by example, and if I'm allowing myself to become in tune with what is happening and allow my emotion to just be present and without a filter. I believe that there are so many, I mean, I know there are those who are going to argue that this is why we don't say things all the time that just pop into our heads, because there has to be some level of some level of filtering that has to occur in order to not hurt people or any other aspect like that could possibly be negative to yourself or others. But I believe we are doing damage to ourselves in the long run by not allowing ourselves to come through. And I think by holding back on ourselves, we're just holding back on the spirit, and to defy our spiritual nature is to defy ourselves. So during this process of coming to know yourself that I'm venturing into here on YouTube, I believe through this exploration, the ultimate thing that I wish to attain out of letting myself become known and allowing myself to know who I am truly is not only a happier human being, and not necessarily content, but awareness of the things that make me do things, awareness of the things that I need to change about myself and the areas that I need to improve on and grow upon. Sorry about that. So throughout this journey, the things that I need to build on and grow upon or grow with will become evident through my exploration, I believe. Just this other perspective, as I say, is just the benefits that can be instilled from this, the benefits that we can take away from viewing ourselves from a whole entirely new vantage point are just innumerable. There's no parallel in modern history that has been able to capture and record and broadcast the spirit and the self on such a level that we see before us now. It's really becoming solidified in a global stage where we're now able to capture ourselves and just we're able to reformulate what we're doing here and why we're doing it. I believe that this is a learning experience where It's nothing that's going to happen overnight. And the more that we dedicate ourselves to this process and to this journey, the more that we're going to gain from it. So I know that I'm not good at allowing myself to open up and show who I am completely, and this is something that I know I have to improve on, and I think YouTube is supplying the medium for me to allow me to venture out and get out of my comfort zone and allow others to help me in my growth as well, and hopefully I can do the same and reciprocate some of the things that the YouTube community has already given me, and which I anticipate I will get more from as I'm beginning to release videos on YouTube.